So this is what we're gonna do today. We're gonna talk about the new moon to new moon planetary transits, all the fun stuff. I'm gonna give you guys some keys and some cheat codes for the month of April. Give y'all a little bit of cheat codes for the month of May. Then we're gonna get into the mathematics. I'm gonna read y'all out. It's gonna be a good time, and we love it here. So let's get started. All right, so we're gonna go over the tropical, the Vedic, and the draconic. You know, tropical rules over the mind, the thought process, how we think things to be. The Vedic is the sidereal, this is the happenings, the energy exchanges, the events in our space, right? And draconic is our soul experience. Give you guys a little heads up. The draconic chart always moves first because, of course, our spirit walks into rooms way before we do. Our aura is big as shit. And then the tropical goes. So, first the spirit, then the thoughts, right? And then the events happen because the slowest moving energy is the Vedic chart, your physical body, etc., etc. So, we experienced the new moon on March 29th. It was also an eclipse and it was a great time. This also was the end of, well, not necessarily, but yeah, it was fun time. So during that new moon, as far as our ascendant line goes, which is our rising energy, the energy that we give off to others, on our mindset, on the tropical, we were in Sagittarius energy. So expansion, abundance, joy, building that utopia, philanthropy is heavy here. Um, a sacral chakra, indulging in that space of your sensual, sexual self, your creative energy, your expansive self. Sacral chakra is heavy here, and that's where the ascendant energy is. The fortune was also there. So if you guys were in alignment with your sacral chakra, your space of joy and creativity, that was definitely the energy to give off during the new moon. Um, Now, that's in the mindset. Now, Vedically, in the energy exchanges, we were in a space of transformations as that same ascendant line was sitting over there in Scorpius energy at a 14-degree, 1 and 4 knowledge on the blueprint foundation of things. So, setting our intentions, setting our blueprint, those classroom rules I keep telling you guys about writing, being empowered in them, revealing them. They're not a secret. You don't write classroom rules for it to be a secret. You write them to speak them into existence to the people, places, things, situations, and entities that come into your space, right? But yeah, transformations, rebirth, transference of power, willpower, manipulations, occultism, all of that was on the forefront in the energy exchanges, events, and happenings. Then on the draconic chart, the of course the ascendant line was in alignment with the tropical, but while the tropical line was at a 4 degree in Sagittarius, focused on that chesed, creating that divine blueprint. Um, the draconic AC line was at a 8 degrees at that transformation and rebirth in the Sagittarius energy. So that was the energy being exerted. Within the AC to the IC line, we have the first house being ruled by Sagittarius energy. So we're on that expansion. Second house of value, priorities, love, and wealth was being ruled by Capricorn energy. Long-term planning for the space of abundance and relationships. That means when it comes to when it comes to the heart chakra, nothing is going to come fast and easy. Well, let me erase that. None of it's going to come easy. Wait, no, I don't want to let it either. It's not going to come fast, but it should be with ease. It shouldn't be difficult, like, like you're forcing and there's resistance and stuff like that. It should be like a certain level of ease, but also a certain level of like, different challenges that come up, you know what I'm saying? But heavy on the long term planning here. So, no get rich quick schemes and get love right now, all that stuff like that. The things that you want is going to be in the realms of long-term planning, says the second house. Being diligent, persistent, consistent, those are keys. Now, on the Vedic scale, we have Pluto sitting over there. Well, Pluto is sitting in the second house, and our mind and our spirits in Aquarius, being revolutionary, unique, doing things in a new way, in alignment with transference of power in society on the mind and spirit. That's why we say a lot, this is a mental war and this is a spiritual war. In the actual events, energy exchanges of things, that's where Pluto was at in Capricorn, providing transformation and authority, power, the different kind of challenges that are happening. But it's really like a heavy, power exchange in the mind and spirit. So it's saying like, it might be a bang bang shoot 'em up type situation in certain retrospects. It depends on what kind of reality that you're gravitating to and you're telling yourself you're going to have. A lot of you guys are out there calling yourselves warriors and the militants and the generals and such or such. And you guys are speaking that into existence and preparing yourself for it. That's what you want in your reality. I respect it. Some of you guys are going the legal route, the paperwork route, the bureaucratic route with things, and that's what you want in your reality. Some of you guys are going the philosophical, spiritual route. Everybody is finding their place and how they're attracting their space, their place in the transformations. A lot of we're like in that generation. Like I know my Pluto's in Scorpio. There's like a nice like group of individuals that have a Pluto and Scorpio. And for those of you guys who have your Pluto and Scorpio, figure out what house that's in because that's going to show where your empowerment and your transformations and your transference of power is at while Pluto is doing the transformations in that second house of values, priorities. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So like if my Pluto is in the third house of community and communication, that's what I do. I teach. I'm intellectual, community and communication is how I bring my transformations and my empowerment while Pluto is doing this in the root chakra of Aquarius, Capricorn energy. So say if your Pluto is in the fourth house, you're focused more so on nurturing emotional connections, you know what I'm saying? Creating a sense of belonging. So putting people together in that space of home and family being that matriarchal energy, nurturing space. Um, if it is in the fifth house, then yeah, you probably are, a warrior in that militant spirit, in the space of new beginnings. Hey, Suzanne, peace to the goddess. Um, if your Pluto is in Scorpio and the, I don't know, seventh house, you probably are more so in tune with legalities, bonds, and contracts, getting it, helping people out in that retrospect, different things like that. So that's where we're at here. And then you have the Pluto and Libra, people bringing transformations to that paperwork, the bonds and contracts, the interpersonal relationships, law, justice, truth, and righteousness. Hey, Greg, peace of the God. Different things like that. So all that's happening here. But that's all in the second house. Then we have in the third house of community and communication, is ruled in Aquarius. So being unique, revolutionary, speaking those kind of things into existence, building those kind of communities and societies. Um, and the well, we don't have any planetary placements, any like major planetary placements in third house of community and communication, but the third house does start in Aquarius, it ends in Pisces on the mind and the soul. So we have the balance between those two, and the energy exchanges, the community and communication is happening in that root chakra of structure and boundaries and discipline, and ending off in that space of revolutionary energy. We get into the fourth house. The fourth house is the forefront of this year because we're in the year of nine. This is the year of Yesod. This is the year of the celestial womb, which is Cancer energy, and of course, Cancer rules over the fourth house. So Yesod, the divine womb, where we give birth to nurturing spaces, the matriarch, feminine energy, is on the spotlight. You see the moon. No matter what the sun does, the sun is not exiting that fourth house. We started off the new moon energy. We got heavy planets over there and Piscean energy of spirituality, um, sensitivity. Hey, nobody, peace to the God. Thank you so much. Um, Spirituality, sensitivity, being empathetic, be mindful of, be mindful of, dang, where was I going? I fucked up my thought. Oh, be mindful of being the martyr. Hey, Andy. When you are being sympathetic and empathetic to people and trying to take on, trying so hard to help other people through their karmic energy and their events and stuff like that, that you take on their karma as your own. And now you're going through things that don't belong to you because you want to save the day. Be mindful of that. Um, Now, in our mind and in our spirit, hey goddess, we have on the fourth line, which is the line of belonging. This is how other people make us feel. You know what I'm saying? This is how, other people, slurp us into their vortex and nurture us and love on us and stuff like that. So in the space of belonging, we have Saturn here with some, challenges in our space over there in Pisces in our mindset. We have our north node here, the direction that we're moving towards in our spiritual realm, sensitivity, things hidden beneath the horizon, illusions and things of that nature. We have Venus bringing in that love and wealth, and you're welcome, love. Thank you for always showing up. Love and wealth, and finding the balance between the emotional and the material realm. Venus is also sitting there working on your priorities, what you value, your creative self, your romantic self, stuff like that. Then we have Neptune there. Again, this is the 29th. I know we're in Aries at this point, but let's talk about how we started the new moon energy. We have Neptune sitting over there providing the dreams and the subconscious and the emotional energy. And our spiritual realm of things, we started off the new moon energy right on the IC line. We only have Saturn. We only have Saturn sitting over there in the Pisces energy, on the draconic chart. And so what Saturn is doing is, providing the challenges, the authority, the boundaries, getting you in tune with your roots in that spiritual realm. How are you being rooted there? Um, like I said, there's a transference of energy happening in the cosmos, just like there's a transference energy happening in the physical realm. And then, Draconic chart is always pre-gaming us for what's to happen on the tropical and Vedic chart and the next new moon phase. And we'll realize that in a moment. As far as Vedically speaking, in our energy exchanges, majority of displacements were in Pisces. We actually had Saturn sitting in the Aquarius energy, which is that energy of society, being unique, original, um, your forms of detachment slash attachment. Aquarian is what that intellect, but like societal intellect, societal relationships, and so that sense of belonging comes from what's my place in society. And like I just told you guys, check your Pluto placement. Check, I know we have a nice group of people right now that have Pluto and Scorpio. Find out what house it's in. Is there anything else in that house, in that Scorpio energy that's supporting it? That'll help, bring write out the details to what your trans to the type of transformations that you are applicating, while our current Pluto is in Aquarius, providing those transformations in our root chakra, right? Um, in our energy exchanges, we also have the North Node in Pisces. We have Venus in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces, Mercury in Pisces, the Sun and the Moon, as well as Chiron. So we have our third eye on the internal, external level, throat chakra, heart chakra, and solar plexus chakra, and our spiritual direction is all in that Piscean energy, all in that space of feeling, our mystical self, our empathetic self, sympathetic self, in that space of, going beneath the horizon, dreamy energy. For those of you guys who was like, I'm finna go take a nap, you were definitely in alignment, because everything to be had, in the energy exchanges of things is in that dreamy space. This is also why to some of you guys in certain regions may still feel like a back and forth between spring and winter time, because we have so many placements sitting Vedically in Pisces still. Um, but yeah, what is that? Like one, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's like a seven placement in Pisces, and that's bringing it from the fourth to the fifth house. So from the fourth house of that internal introspection side of the third eye to the Leo energy of external, how you carry on your masculine energy and how you interact with the masculine energy around you. Um, that Leo energy is ruled by Pisces because it starts off in Pisces and then it moves on into Aries energy, new beginnings, to that masculine energy, your masculine energy, how you interact with the masculine energy around you. We had nobody is in the fifth house. Everybody's actually still in the fourth house. So we don't have any celestial bodies in that fifth house of Aries and the energy exchanges of things. However, there is still a space there for new beginnings and your confident, courageous self, and that inner child connection, as well as in that connection with the patrilineal, space in your life, the patriarchal energy, the father. Um, as far as tropically goes, Again, we don't have anything in the fifth house, but the fifth house starts in Aries, so it's ruled by Aries, and then it ends off in Taurus. So you're taking that new beginnings and moving it into, what you value, what you prioritize, your space of love, interconnectivity, the balance between emotional and material self, all that fun stuff. Then we go into the sixth house right before the descendant line. Sixth house is the house of diseases, and it's a space of diseases because if you don't have a sense of self management on your health, wellness, daily routine, your monetary code, your habitual self, what you're learning, what you're speaking on, what you are ingesting and suggesting, how you express and communicate, yeah, it brings diseases. You ever get that's why they say like don't hold things in, because when you hold things in you can give yourself tumors, you can make yourself sick. You're supposed to express. When you suppress you get depressed, and that's when all the stuff start happening, and we don't like that. You know what I'm saying? You got to remember on a physical level your body is mostly water, so think about what happens when you have like a water hose and you try to close the hose. You can feel the pressure building up, that water wants to come out. That's what it's like when you're holding your water in, or when you're holding the ethers in your throat. You know what I'm saying? You start to get choked up in your throat. You start to feel it in your chest. Now it's on your shoulders. Now it's in your back. Except it's wherever you hold that shit in there. You know what I'm saying? So expression is key there on the sixth house to help you guys with the dis-ease. Make sure it's a part of your daily routine and not something you just blurt out once in a blue moon. In the sixth house, we have Uranus sitting there, um, tropically as well as draconic, mind and soul. Hey, champ, that's you.
Huh?
Are you champ?
Yes.
Hi. Um, in our mind and our soul, we have Uranus providing the progressive pushes that we need in our space to keep us moving, and it's progressively pushing us in that space of what we value, what we prioritize, the material wealth. And then Uranus just entered Taurus energy on the Vedic, the energy exchanges of things. So we now have Taurus at a zero. I mean Taurus. We now have Uranus at a 0 degree Taurus. So 0 degrees is like that easy. It's mad easy for the progressive pushes to
I
happen
think my life is kind of delayed because as you're saying things, they're saying the things you said after you said before.
because it takes some time before for my voice to go through the device and then make it to you.
I mean, I'm right next to you, so I don't have to make sounds.
You hear me a whole lot faster, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you'll hear me faster than you'll hear me through the phone. Um, but yeah, so Uranus is providing those progressive pushes, and it's happening on like what we do. Hey, Devin, peace. It's happening on a daily basis. Like, what's a part of your habits? What's a part of your routine? Your moral code. You'll feel yourself getting pushed out of spaces that has been a part of your regular, schmegular. You know what I'm saying? And so you feel yourself you getting pushed out, just flow with it. We love it here. You know what I'm saying? Because this is happening in the sixth house and we don't want to suppress, those pushes. We gotta trust that those pushes are pushing us to where we said we want to go. Then we get into our DC line. DC line deals with like one-on-one relationships. There's a sense of balance here, give and take. I appreciate the follow love. It's yeah, it's a divine balance here with the give and take. Like ascendant is how you exert yourself. The IC line is how you're being gravitated, how people are pulling you in, and now the DC line is like we need that equality here, give and take. What are we doing? Um, in our thought process, that DC line it starts in Gemini on the thoughts as well as in a draconic in our spiritual self. So that give and take is in your community. Communication is key here to create. Thank you, Devin. To create that community. You gotta speak up. You gotta use your throat chakra, y'all. You're not gonna get it just being quiet. People don't know what you got going on if you're not telling nobody. You gotta, and I see a lot of people using, especially these ones and zeros, their platform to communicate. Like, this is what I've been going through. This is what's happening. I need help. I need a community. I need support. I need this. I need that. Don't be ashamed of that. That's how you get what you need, right? The worst thing that can happen is somebody say no. You know what I'm saying? But we have that give and take there happening in the community. We have Jupiter sitting over there, providing expansion, abundance, philanthropy happening in the community there in our mind and in our spiritual self. This is how we find balance. So over there on your AC line, how you exert yourself is that Sagittarius energy that's ruled by Jupiter, right? that expansion and abundance, you know, giving, being generous, sitting in, you know, your luck or whatever, long term planning for a business and stuff like that. On the equal opposites, equality, if you assert yourself in that Sagittarius energy, guess what? You're going to get that back from your community. You know what I'm saying? So you walk around with your fists closed because you don't want to give. Guess what? Your fists are closed, so you also cannot receive. You understand what I'm saying? So be mindful of that, you know, where the AC and the DC line is at. You know what I'm saying? Then we get into that eighth house. The eighth house starts over in Cancer. That's the, you know, introspection, the sense of nurturing. Transformations is happening to a lot of people's home and family. A transference of power. Some of you guys, matriarchs and patriarchs, are getting ill, getting older, you know, ascending. It's up to you guys to start planning the Sunday dinners and the new traditions, and start making sure the younger, you know, generation is staying together and having the family events and woo woo wop, moving in that realm of things. Because 6-9 deals with home and family. 6 and 9 also deals with your emotional self. Yes, I'm being mindful lately. Yeah, being very mindful. Also moving slow. It's okay to move slow in this space too, because remember we still are in the Pisces energy on the Vedic chart, heavily in the Pisces energy. So we're still, and we know water moves slower than fire. So while our mind and our spirit is on fire and is going into rooms and creating new beginnings and being aggressive and assertive, our Pisces energy is still moving slow. However, the Pisces energy, the fact that it's in Pisces while everything is in Aries, is a divine alignment, because you'll find your body walking in the spaces your mind and your spirit already walked into. Lots of deja vu, a lot of alignments that are to in alignment as far as your Akashic records go, things hidden beneath the horizon. Your spirit is going to speak to you a whole lot louder because your spirit's already been in these rooms and had these energy exchanges, you know. And some of you guys get to experience them a lot in your dreams. So when you wake up, it's like familiar faces, familiar energy, whatever, what have you, familiar events. And it's like, okay, you dreamed this already. So what are you going to do about it in your waking life? Stuff like that. So you get different opportunities like that with how that's going. Um, but coming back up to the eighth house, empowerment happening in the home and family and sense of nurturing. We do have the vertex and we have Mars there. Mars is shit. Mars in Pisces is, why do I keep saying Mars in Pisces? Mars is not in Pisces. Mars is in Cancer. Mars being in Cancer is another reason why you should give yourself patience and be okay with moving slow, because Mars deals with the solar plexus chakra. This is ambition, motivation, etc., etc. And Cancer energy kind of debilitates Mars, because Cancer is more like introspection, emotions, and you know, nurturing and stuff like that. While Mars is about action. So Mars being in there makes Mars move a whole lot slower. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, people's ambition and motivation is moving slow, but the thoughts are still there because the thoughts are more subconscious. And like I said, on the tropical and draconic chart, we are, you know, in that fire, especially draconic. Draconic been on it. Draconic got all them planets over there in Aries, the South Node, Mars, Neptune, Mercury, the moon, the sun, Chiron. Like when we started this new moon cycle, our spirit was like, yeah, we out. You know what I'm saying? I catch up, you know, the mind and the body gonna catch up. The spirit was already out doing things, making moves and stuff like that. That's probably why a lot of you guys feel like this really strong yearning for certain things. And that's your body, you know, craving that, being in, you know, being sucked into where your spirit is already at. You know what I'm saying? The doors at your spirit already opened and stuff like that. But like I said, Mars is over there next to the vertex, you know, in that Cancer energy. So that nurturing sense of belonging space. Once you find that space, it's going to motivate you. So have faith in there. Then we get into the ninth house, which is the house of expansion, abundance, and joy. It starts in that Leo energy, tapping into your inner child. If you see, we got like a lot of the fires are locked in with one another. You got the fifth house in Aries, you got the ninth house in Leo, and you have the first house in Sagittarius. So the fires are definitely locked in with one another. Um, and it's fun. We love it here. But yeah, expansion and abundance and joy to that inner child, because that inner child is starting to get, you know, locked into, you know, the different things. that's happening with the accompanying fires. You know what I'm saying? Because all the fires, they all complement each other. Um, then we get into the MC line. So the MC line is at opposition of the IC. So the IC line is how other people make give you a sense of belonging, right? The MC line is how you provide yourself a sense of belonging, right? MC line is achievements and success, how you want to be seen. You know what I'm saying? How you want to exert yourself to belong. Okay, that's that Capricorn energy, and the MC line is over there in our mindset in Virgo. So, being organized, having a habit, having a routine, paying attention to the details. Because remember, I said the AC line is in that long term planning of Sagittarius. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to pay attention to our details. Take small bites. There is no fast button. There is no I'm about to do this shit overnight. It's none of that. You're going to pay attention to what you have to do every day. What's the mindset you have to have every day? What's the meditations you have to have every day? What's the diet? What's the workout routine? Who do you have to listen to on the podcast? What classes you got to go to? How much money you got to save every day? Stuff like that. We're dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? That's going to help you there with that MC line. It's in our thought process. And our thought process, which is in the tropical space, we have the south node there. So there's a sense of comfort there in our intellectual self, decision making habits. Um, and the happenings or the energy exchanges, that MC line starts over in Leo. So we're exerting ourselves with confidence and courageousness, with what we do. That South Node is still in Virgo over there in the 10th house, but it's just the what do you call it? The MC line starts a little bit before that. So be confident, be creative, be courageous. You know what I'm saying? Tap into your inner child with the self management. Some of you guys have to, be a parent to your inner child, the inner children, the different levels of yourself. It ain't always the toddler. Sometimes it's the infant. Sometimes it's the preteen and teenager. Sometimes it's the person in the early 20s. You got to learn how to parent all those different ages within yourself. Um, in the draconic chart, spiritual self, the 10th house is at a 24 degree, and Virgo 2 and 4 come together and make 6. So we on the sixes in there, heavy. Still dealing in that space of equality. You get what you give. Now, the south node over there is in Libra, so it's in that balance, harmony, truth, righteousness, in that 10th house. So then we get into the 11th house. This is the house of society. This is the house of electronic communication, sense of detachment. We have Lilith in the 11th house being rebellious. So that heavy rebellious energy to the societal norms is heavier, which is cool because while Lilith was over there, pulling on people to in their primordial selves, you guys realizing more so it's like a Sankofa vibe. You guys more so are looking backwards at history and how things used to be and different past behaviors of the quote unquote oppressors or powers to be or whatever you want to call them. And then past behaviors of your personal tribes, villages, lands, whatever, towns, cities, whatever whatever part wherever you're at in your journey, whatever you're looking into. Some of you guys are even going as far as looking at your celestial tribes. You know what I'm saying? And saying, oh, we used to live like this. We used to eat like this. We used to do these things and da 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 da. And that's bringing you into your, oh, thank you, champ. And that's bringing you into, how you want to exhibit yourself now, being present. Okay. So, and that's what it means when you say my primordial rebellious side. You're rebelling in how society is, but you're using your primordial self to do so. You're using your lineage to do that, and that's fun. Um, yeah. So, in our mindset of things, that's happening in Scorpio energy. So it's the power as well as in the draconic. So mind and soul are in alignment with creating transformations and the transference of power. um, in the energy exchanges or the happenings, it's in Libra. So law, justice, truth, and righteousness, that's where it's happening at. You know what I'm saying? It's happening in the space of law. It's happening in your bonds and contracts and stuff like that. It's happening as the truth comes out. And then, of course, the 12th house is our space of closings. How are we closing things up? Our space of endings. And it's ending in our mind and in our spirit on those transformations, being in starting in Scorpio energy and then expanding into that space of utopia at the end. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty cool. In the energy exchanges, the 12th house of closings is starting over there in law, justice, truth, and righteousness, and it's opening up in that transference of power and truth coming out. And that's pretty interesting. So that's how we started this new moon energy. That's how we started this new moon season. So let's get into it a little bit deeper. Um, then we go into the next new moon. The next new moon is April 27th. That's 499. 499 is 13. That's a karmic debt number, 1 and 3. Having the intellect and standing under what you know. That brings us to 4, Chesed, creating that law. I'm telling you guys better create those aura laws. Create your celestial blueprint so you have a vision and you have something to be grounded in, especially before we enter that Gemini energy. You guys are going to get pushed and pulled all over the place. And then if you guys are entering Taurus energy without a celestial blueprint, what are you moving slow and steady for? You just moving and you're going to be impatient. You're going to be irritated because you're not working on anything. We're going to take that 4, we're going to put it into the 9. So we actually get a karmic debt number twice on 499. Ultimately, that next new moon energy is going to be a day of 4, establishing the things. What was the mathematics on the last one? It was 329. It was a day of mastery, right? So we had the 11 to 14, the 1 and 4 taking it. Oh, so that was a day of enforcement. So now we're coming into a day of the celestial blueprint. Okay, we'll take it. And our thought process of things when it comes into our ascendant line, how we assert ourselves. That line is still going to be in Sagittarius. It's actually going to be in Sagittarius on our mind and in our events. On our soul, that line is starting in Capricorn energy on the space of authority and long term planning as far as challenges go and our survival of self. So that's interesting. So we have, more of an alignment with our mind and our events when we start this next new moon. And of course, as usual, the spirit is the ahead of the game. We have the fortune and our, well, let me rewind because, in the tropical, we have, the AC line happening more towards the mutable at a 29 degrees. So it's at that degree of mastery moving into Capricorn energy. And then in our Vedic and actual events, we have it in the first 10 degrees at a 5 degree. So it's in that cardinal energy. So in the events, we're just starting that Sagittarius energy. We're taking initiative while in our mind, we are being more adaptable and flexible. Um, but that first house, starting over the auric energy, the house of self is sitting in that Sagittarius expansion and abundance. We have the fortune happening there. So if we sit in that, the fortune is happening in that root chakra, the survival of self, authority. Then we have Pluto also sitting in the first house and in Aquarius energy. And this is in alignment with the tropical and draconic chart, providing transformations and a shift of power in society. So next new moon is going to be some more secrets coming out, more transference of power that's going to affect how society is moving. Be mindful of that. The second house of possession starts over in Aquarius, so this is definitely going to affect what you prioritize and what you value in the material world, as well as in your emotional connections. And as the second house moves over into Piscean energy, it's also a spiritual experience happening here. We don't have any major celestial bodies here, which is fine. Now, in the events of things, while that's happening on the tropical and the draconic, the second house starts on Capricorn, the root chakra. So slow and steady, challenges happening to the monies, challenges happening in your emotional connections, um, and then that what you value and prioritize is also happening in society. You know, so challenges happening in that space of things. Now, when we get into the third house of community and communication, we have the South Node here, we have Saturn, and we have Mars. No, that's Venus all sitting in Pisces energy, still in that space of subconscious, hidden dreams, agendas, the spiritual self. Um, so having access to communication, my mediums, you already know. Doing not invocation, because invocation is more Mercury. Well, I guess you could do Mercury because the third house is Gemini and Mercury is an air planet and rules over Gemini. So yeah, you can get into invocation, but mediumship definitely in the realms of waters, deep waters, like in the ocean type stuff. Channeling Olukun type energy is heavy there. We're moving in that space of prioritizing our spiritual self, our spiritual tribe, spiritual energy exchanges. And I say spirit because, it's not just surface feelings, it's the deep feelings, the ones that we can't shake that sound a whole lot different than that surface shit that, comes and goes. And there will be some challenges, there will be a sense of authority happening there. You'll feel your intuition and your spiritual self become louder, your empathetic self becoming a lot louder, and very difficult to ignore because those connections will be more so in alignment with our Vedic chart because the South Node on the Vedic chart has South Node on the Vedic chart, yeah, is also in Pisces along with Saturn, Venus, Neptune, and Mercury. And so, it'll be very heavy in our energy exchanges to listen to our spiritual self. Now, in the draconic chart, spiritually speaking, all them planets had moved on to Aries. Aries now rules over the third house. All the planets are in Aries now. There's actually no celestial, no in our spiritual body. By the next new moon, there will be no more celestial bodies in Pisces. Excuse me, in Pisces. They will all officially be in Aries. Now, Saturn will probably be in Aries for a little bit, but by the time we get to like the end of April, Saturn will be in retrograde. So, during the summertime, we might move back to like a 29, 28-degree Pisces before we move back forward, right? So, draconic speaking in that space of new beginnings happening in that space of communication, we have the North Node, Saturn creating the challenges, ruling over the root chakra. We have Venus ruling over the heart chakra, our space of priorities and value. We have Neptune, which rules over our celestial law, the energy of Maya, hidden dreams and agendas, and our dreamy subconscious self. Then we have Mercury ruling over the throat chakra and how we communicate, how we learn, and our habits. And then we have Chiron, of course, transmuting our wounds into strengths. And all of that is in that space of new beginnings and taking action and being motivated. So we're taking action on all of that. You know what I'm saying? And then we even flow up to our fourth house. We take all those planets all the way up into our fourth house, which starts in Aries. So new beginnings is happening in our space of home and family and our sense of belonging with, all of that. Would I say more fires? Yeah, it could be more fires. It could also be heavy militant energy happening here too, with all these planets aligned to Aries energy. It could be very aggressive or assertive. I will say this, it'll be very fast because one thing about fire is very fast and it grows fast. And three is air. So air is going to blow it and make it faster. The way we communicate makes fire, like fire information, fire like motivation, ambition, and all triggers and shit move real fast with us on this internet. It only takes one person to leak something. In about 15 minutes, you got at least a good 100,000 people talking about it if it's tea enough. So being mindful of that, the all that Aries energy in the third house, yeah. Um, I would say be mindful of gossiping during that period of time. Like be mindful of the kind of fires that you're starting and you're spreading with that third house and Aries and all those planets sitting there. Is that really the new beginning you want? Is that the war you really want to fight? Pick your battles accordingly. Be intelligent, Um, but then we get into that fourth house of home and family and sense of belonging. So now we're in that space where we get hugged. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm glad you don't have anybody to gossip about too. And our mindset, that fourth house is in the, that sense of belonging is in the new beginnings of Aries, like on the mind and the spirit. And our energy exchanges is still in that Pisces. So sensitivity is heavy here, subconscious, spiritual connections. We're still, in that space. Then we come into the fourth house. Of course, the sun is not leaving the fourth house because, like I said, we're in the year of nine. This is the year of Yesod. This is the year of giving birth and nurturing and things of that nature. So, of course, the sun also in that Cancer ruled energy as, giving us all those fourth house experiences. Um, our new moon is going to be brought to us by, it's going to be an Aries new moon. Draconic speaking is going to be a Taurus new moon. Um, in our thought process, it'll be a Taurus new moon. In our energy exchanges or in the Vedic chart, it'll be an Aries new moon. So it'll be a new moon, literally of new beginnings in our home and family, and sense of belonging in the events. In our mind and our spirit. Hey, Razzle Dazzle, how you doing, love? In our spirit and events, it'll be, a new moon in that Taurus of possessions and belongings and what you value. Yeah, Taurus, setting the tone. Hey, old sound. Then we get into the fifth house. That's the Leo house. Our creative self, romantic self, our confidence and courageousness. That fifth house is starting over there in Taurus in our mind as well as in our spiritual realm. Um, so being creative with them coins, what you prioritize, what you value. This is a good space for my artists too. Fifth house and Taurus, definitely getting some inspiration to create some music, jewelry, clothing, coordinate some events, spaces of beauty, spaces of love is definitely a big space, big here too. What's up with you, Old Town? Happy Thursday. Well, almost Thursday. Then we get into, oh yeah, Uranus is over there in the fifth house, providing progressive pushes here too, and we love it there. Then we get into the sixth house. Sixth house, that home, that health, wellness, daily routine. The daily routine has Jupiter giving you expansion and abundance in our mind and in our soul. Is of course is still in Gemini, so expansion and abundance in our communication space in that sixth house. Thank you. And then we come into our DC line. This is our house of equality. Now we're in that space of give and take. You know what I'm saying? We have one planet in our seventh house of law, justice, truth, and righteousness, and that's Mars. And that's why I said some of the new beginnings that come around might be militant or like governmental, or, you know, might be a little fight, might be a real fire, because the placements are in alignment there for it to happen that way. Mars being in the seventh house in that Leo energy. Be confident, be courageous, stand 10 toes down. Hey, brother, how you doing, beloved? Um, it might be confrontational between you and somebody else. It might tell you how they really feel about you, because all this stuff in Pisces is making it hard for people to bite their tongue. Might get some monologues, might have face to face, whatever, what have you. Like I told y'all last time I sat with y'all, you are in control of you and you only. Best thing you could do is just say how you feel, what you want, what you desire, what you demand in your space, what you require, and ask them how they feel about it and how they want to move forward. You yelling at somebody, can't nobody make you do nothing. You can't make me mad. You can't make me upset. You can't make me do anything or be anything I don't want to do or be. You understand? That is and always stay calm, cool, and collected. The goal is to stay zen amongst the chaos. You don't let the chaos inside. You allow the chaos to pass by. Okay. But I'm telling y'all right now, these planets will let it be known. This is a day of four, and like I said, in the mathematics of this next new moon, we come across that karmic debt number of 13 twice. So standing under what you know, acting on it, having intellect and expressing it, it might be tested here. You know what I'm saying? You might get pushed. Somebody might be like, I don't really think you should be doing what you're doing. Or why are you doing it like this? Or why are you like that? Or maybe you should change your ways. And there's certain ways you can go about communicating, you know, who you are, staying your authenticity, because you listened to me and you wrote your rules down, not just for other people in your space, but also for you in your space, right? Yeah, we did. Yeah, you did. All right. So then we get into the eighth house of transformation. We have the vertex there, creating transformation and empowerment, and our mind and our soul is over there in Leo energy. So it's how we exert ourselves in that confidence, courageous self, and the energy exchanges of things that's in Cancer, you know. So it's in that emotional, nurturing space. See, still further reminding you, when shit is all fiery and going all crazy, just be cool, be copacetic, be nurturing, move in love always, even when motherfuckers being weird. move in love. Like, sometimes you might have to yell and shout, but make sure when you yelling and shouting, you're being intentional with what you're still saying. You know what I'm saying? You can yell in love, like I fucking love you, and you know I'm still rooting for you, but you gotta get away from me. um, the ninth house is a house of expansion. Abundance is the sacral chakra. This is the philanthropic self, generosity and joy, and we have the south node. Actually, our comfort self, our comfort zone, in that space of expansion and abundance. It's in our mindset of things. Actually, on all three. No, no, no. I was going to lie to you. In our mind as well as the events, they're both in Virgo. So being in, your routine of things, like I told you when we first started this new moon phase, it's a lot of things you guys have been holding on in your routine and your daily life and the small details of things that is not in alignment with the bigger picture. So some of the bigger picture things you're trying to create is going to make you have to let go of some of the routines that you're trying to hold on to. That, I know they give you comfort and they do all the things and stuff like that, but just you know, I don't know, be optimistic. Uranus is providing progressive pushes in what you value and you prioritize. So, allow it to push you in those spaces of prioritizing what you value so that you can adapt and be flexible. Jupiter over there is providing expansion to that space of adaptability. I gotta learn to watch the stars. Yeah, we gotta get a telescope. It's fun there. That's where the South Node is. As far as the spiritual self, that South Node is sitting over there in that expansion, abundance, and uh, the Libra space, that law, justice, truth, and righteousness. And then we get into the 10th house, which is how you exert yourself to create a sense of belonging, right? That space of achievements and success. Um, in our thought process, as well as in our spiritual self, tropical and draconic, that line is in. Um, Libra, providing that balance, that harmony, interpersonal relationships, bonds, and contracts is success here in your mind as well as in your spirit. You guys during this new moon to new moon in between here somewhere, start making sense of your soul contracts and your akashic records that will help you to start off the next new moon energy. If you guys want to tap into, that MC line and figure out how to exert yourself, for those of you guys who like to be not so much as in control, but you guys like to be the exerted. You guys are more masculine than you are feminine and letting other people take the lead around you, and that's okay. Um, there's levels to it. We get into the 10th house of success and achievements. Of course, we have Lilith sitting over there, that primordial goddess. In our mindset as well as spiritual, she's over there and creating transformations and power. She sits in Scorpio in the 10th house. So allowing those primordial, allowing those transformations to occur, will bring success. Bring you back to your primordial self. Like I said, get back into with your Akasha records. That will help you with this MC line, y'all. And the opposite of the MC line is the IC. So how people are going to receive you as you're putting yourself out is going to be all those placements in Pisces. That's Saturn challenges, Venus, what you prioritize and value, Neptune, your hidden subconscious dreams and secrets, and Mercury over there in vocation and communication, decision making. So you're going to be received in all those spaces, you know what I'm saying, with that IC line over there in the third and fourth house. So be mindful of that. It's actually pretty cool. I would do it. Um, like I said, the deja vu feeling, you know, this whole time we've been like hooked on our blood relativity, and it's good to know those connections too. But now you're going to get more in contact with your celestial relativity, your energetic relativity, and the past lives you guys have spent together, because you have a multitude of DNA strands. It's not just blood and physical connection, it's also other connections, that happening there as well. Um, then we get into the 11th house of society. That 11th house starts over in Scorpio energy and ends off in Sagittarius in our mind and spirit. So society is starting with the transformations and then an expansion and utopia. The 11th house in our event starts off in bonds and contracts, interpersonal relationships with Libra, and ends off in Scorpio and transformations of power. Okay. And then in the 12th house, which is our house of endings, how we closing it off before we get back to our AC line. In our mind and our spirit, we're doing our space of closing in that Sagittarius realm. So that long term planning. So a lot of things that you, not a lot, but it's going to be a few things that you started this month off in that you were planning and being intentional with. By the time we get to the end of this month, it's going to be a big chunk of it done, especially if you allow yourself to go to flow through the progressive changes that need to be happening. Uranus is in opposition of Lilith over there, and Scorpio, primordial transformations bring you to progressive pushes and what you value and prioritize on the opposite end. Sagittarius energy with them closings or whatever, and that house of closing with the 12th house, opposition of Jupiter over there, providing expansion and abundance and wisdom to your community and communication of Gemini energy, right? So remember what's in opposition. Those are like magic wands. They're like, kind of like teeter tottering back and forth between the two. Um, and so that's what we have there for the next new moon, from new moon to new moon on a tropical. We have a triangle. So we started the first on the tropical chart, our mindset. Think about our mindset, right? We had a nice, somewhat of an equilateral triangle or obtuse triangle happening. The top point was the sixth house of health, wellness, daily routine, the moral and integral code. And I was pointing towards Uranus, which is the progressive pushes, and that Taurus. So that balance between the physical and the non physical world, emotional and material, your wealth building, what you prioritize, what you value, and your connections, like facets of love and forgiveness, right? So that's where we're pointing towards. The two bases, the one base is the eighth house, the house of transformation and power, occultism and secrets, and that's going towards Mars and Star Trek, yeah. And that's going towards Mars and Cancer, okay? So motivation, having introspection on your solar plexus chakra will help support that towards the progressive push and what you prioritize, right? What motivates you, you know what I'm saying? What angers you, what triggers you, what gets you going. Nurture that space and allow yourself to have some transformation. Some of the stuff that used to motivate you and get you going, it that still shouldn't be your motivation. It still shouldn't be your trigger. It still shouldn't be what angers you. Allow yourself to have transformations in that solar plexus chakra and in your sense of control. You know what I'm saying? And then the other base of the triangle is over there on the IC line. We get into Saturn, bringing the challenges, also root chakra energy in that fourth house, your sense of belonging in Pisces. Okay, your sensitivity, your emotional connectivity that gives you a sense of belonging. So, you might want to allow Uranus to provide some progressive pushes there. Let the transformations happen over in that Cancer, Mars energy motivates you. And then we can also utilize the baseline of the North Node, the direction we're moving in that, what I'm saying? Progressive pushes pulling you towards that North Node, a home and family sense of belonging, and those spiritual connections, emotional connections. So that's the triangle that we started off the energy with. It's kind of like we're moving towards progressive pushes, and like our habits and our routine and what we balance in our business and our emotional self. And that is being supported by transforming what motivates us and having more introspection in our space of control and willpower. And then also dealing with the challenges to our emotional self, our emotional connections to, spaces that made us feel like we belonged in and stuff like that. Um, and then so moving forward, we actually have like two different triangles. It looks like kind of happening, and then we also look. It looks like we have a kite trying to form. And the next move. Let's talk about the one triangle. The Okay, so I want to say I see the top of the triangle in two different ways. I can see it being one where the top is the fourth house, the house of home and family and sense of belonging. So we're going to start with that one. The top of the triangle is there. So that's what we're focused on. That's what we're moving towards. And you have the sun and moon there for the new moon energy. You know, the internal, external side of the third eye happening in that sense of belonging and the Taurus energy, which is, you know, the balance between the physical and the material realm, right? So we have that. That's the focal point. On the baseline, we have Mars over there in Leo in the seventh house. So that sense of equality, bond and contracts, law, justice, truth, and righteousness. Solar plexus chakra is now motivated and triggered by that sense of balance, being confident and courageous and creative in that sense of balance. Then the other balance realm is transformations, um, with that planet Pluto providing transformations in our space of society or in a unique revolutionary way, in the Aquarius energy in regards to, you know, how we exert ourselves in that first house. So we have the fourth house of, you know, our internal, external, our introspection and our extroverted self, and our it being determined, reliable, you know, steadfast towards our sense of belonging, home and family in the fourth house, and it's being supported by, you know, our solar plexus chakra, being confident and courageous, and how in law, justice, truth, and righteousness, and also being supported by our place of transformation, you know, being revolutionary and how we exert ourselves. So that's the second triangle we have. That's the triangle we're moving towards, and that's pretty exciting. That's all happening in our mindset and the energy exchanges of ourselves. That's those same triangles are being created. So the first triangle was going towards Taurus energy in the sixth house. The sidereal triangle is also there. Yeah. However, in this one where Uranus is mutable because it's at a 24 degree, in this one Uranus is cardinal because it's at a 0 degree Taurus, but it's still not going towards finding progressive pushes towards what we value and prioritize on our health, wellness, and daily routine, and is being supported by, you know, our motivation, ambition, and triggers of Mars, um, and our intellectual self of Gemini being flexible and adaptable and what motivates us and allowing it to in our space of empowerment and transformations of the eighth house. And then also being supported by Saturn on that IC line, sense of belonging. So challenges in our society, you know, and towards our home and family. So that's that triangle there. Those are the different events. So like I said, more layoffs, more transformations in the physical realm. We have been prioritizing and idolizing entirely too many elements of this physical world. And so a lot of transformations are happening to show us that a lot of the stuff you didn't really need, we can adapt without it. We can move on, we can expand, we can grow, we can still be in a space of abundance, joy, and expansion. You know what I'm saying? You know, that motivation, that Mars and Gemini eighth houses is that's definitely a key there, y'all. And then Saturn is providing challenges to society to do it. Now, y'all know I'm not a reactive person. I don't like reactivity. I don't understand why at this point in time in the game we're not proactive. But for those of you guys, please don't wait until somebody gives you no choice to make certain moves. If you know who, if you know the chessboard you're on and the moves you have to make and da da da, move now. Don't wait until you in the corner of the board and somebody and they got your queen cornered and everything else before you be like, oh shit, you know, don't do that. Be proactive. You know, align with your community, have certain conversations, be transparent about what you got going on, where you're at, what you're trying to do. Be authentic in who you are in your walk so you can stop being around people you don't really like. You know, stop being around people who are not in alignment with you spiritually, mentally, emotionally, or financially. You know, you're gonna keep being in alignment with people who you know, you don't really want to be around because you're not being authentic. You're over there fake smiling and nodding. You know what I'm saying? Don't be that person. You know what I'm saying? Um, and they, you know, Pluto over there in the second house reveal put you in a position where you ain't got no choice but to take off that mask. Especially with all them planets that's going to be in Aries, and we'll get into that in a moment because take that mask off. The fuck? I don't understand. Love yourself. Love yourself enough to be authentic no matter where you are and be unapologetic about it. You know what I'm saying? If Mars don't teach you nothing else over there in Gemini in the eighth house, let it teach you that. Like, be authentic. You know, tell on yourself. This is who you are. This is what you want. This is what you're willing to tolerate, and this is what you're not willing to tolerate. So you can actually be around the energy, not just people, but also situations, ideas, events. You know, there's a certain kind of lifestyle that you really want, and you over here eating canned beans every day in the corner just so you can fit in with certain people and feel like you a certain kind of way. And if that's not who you are, then that's not who you are. You're allowed to have whatever reality that you want to have. You deserve to have. You know what I'm saying? All right, so you know that's how we start the new moon. So when we come into the next new moon energy on the Vedic chart, this is it. Event happenings. You know, the sun and moon is providing those new beginnings. You're gonna have introspection and experience on that in that space of new beginnings. Aggressive, assertive, because you know Mars, Aries energy is very aggressive, very quick, very assertive. So definitely it's going to be a quick, fast event, and it's going towards your space of nurturing home and family, your emotional self, and your sense of belonging. Um, that event is being supported by Mars. That motivation to find balance and harmony. Basically, what I just went on a rant about you being your authentic self, so you can attract that equal opposite energy you truly deserve. Like, why not nurture your solar pleasure chakra? Why not allow that Mars and Cancer in the seventh house? You know, give you what you want. The hell. And then the other base is Pluto in the Capricorn energy, providing transformations, empowerment, telling secrets, occultism, and how you exert yourself. And that's over there in that long-term planning of Capricorn energy. Also, could be some challenges happening there in the space of transformation, but that's what makes the root stronger. So, you know, for every energy, there's equal opposite energy. Then in our spiritual self on the draconic chart, Um, once again, we did start the sixth house, the health, wellness, daily routine, and progressive pushes, and what we value and prioritize between the material and emotional realm. We did have Mars sitting over there in transformations and Cancer energy. Um, you know, being motivated towards our nurturing self and creating transformation and empowerment there. Thank you for the gifts. Um, oh, appreciate it. Thank you. And then on the other base, we have you know, our sense of belonging. Saturn creating challenges to our sense of belonging. Um, being in Pisces in the fourth house and our emotional self. Thank you. I appreciate you. In our spiritual self on the Draconic chart, this is where the planets take a big leap away from the tropical because we have so many Aries positions. You know what I'm saying? But the top of the triangle is in that Taurus energy, same way how it is in tropical. It's just we have way more in Aries over here than we did on the tropical. In our mindset, we're still in the emotional sensitivity and connectivity. Over here is really new beginnings and being assertive and aggressive. So when they say it's a spiritual war, baby, they are not playing. It's a lots of new beginnings happening in the spiritual realm. It's not so much as April that we're gonna feel a lot of this. You know, your dreams might be very volatile. Um, you know, daydreaming, your subconscious, meditating and stuff like that, you know, your sense of anxiety or the difficulties to be present because you just feel this gravitational pull to be somewhere else, to do something else. You might find yourself saying that a lot, like, damn, I just want to leave. I want to go. I want to do this. I want to do that. Like, why does it have to? Da, 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 da? And that's like a lot of like the draconic already in Aries, creating those new beginnings, opening those windows and doors and stuff like that. Now, when we get into May or like towards the end of April, when tropically we're gonna start lining up in Taurus, but still like Vedically we're in Aries. That's when the events around you are gonna start to line up. Especially more so in May, because more so in May is when the sun we'll start to line up tropically in Taurus. So we'll enter tropical, I'm not tropical, Vedic. So we enter Vedic Taurus energy like around May 17th. We enter Vedic Taurus energy. And then May 20th will be mentally in Gemini. And that's why right now is a good time to work on your celestial blueprint. What are you working on? Work on the little picture and the big picture. Have some sense of self organization because when we are Vedically in Taurus, when we're moving more slow, but we're tropically in Gemini, where our minds are all over the place, that's a perfect time to have a sense of balance and what it is you're moving towards. The scab on my nose came back and it hurts a little. You gotta, can you grab that coconut oil off the table right there?
Coconut.
Yeah, it's right there. That's my child down there. Will that make us more stubborn then?
Yes.
Yes. Now you can either go upstairs and get a Q-tip out the bathroom and dip it in there and put it in your nose, or you can use your finger. It doesn't matter. Not a lot. Just enough to like same way you would put coconut oil in your skin. It's because your skin is dry.
No, I'm gonna go with Q-tip.
Yeah, go get a Q-tip. Will it make you more stubborn? Not necessarily more stubborn. It's like you could be, especially if it's invoking certain placements that you already have. Like my son is a hay wine, my son is a Taurus. So like usually when we're having like Taurian experiences, yeah, he start feeling himself. The nose be a whole lot more louder than usual. But for him, it's more so Aries energy because his Venus is in Aries, so it's more so emotional. He's very emotionally explosive sometimes. Um, so it can, like I said, it depends on how it invokes your personal planets for real, for real. Um, but as a collective, like I would say, like I usually try to tell people how to utilize this energy to instead of like succumbing to the energy and being a victim of it and it's making me do this and making me do that. I like to teach people how to utilize the magician card and can not necessarily control the energy, but like rise above it. You know what I'm saying? Use it to your advantage. Now, in the Christian world, I know that's not the best thing. Oh no, yeah, it's dry up there. Use the other side of the Q-tip. It's not super bad. If it was super bad, it would be rolling down your face.
It's better.
It's better.
Yeah, it's better.
Okay, so every time you start to feel like you're dry, that's what you should do, okay? But get a different Q-tip next time.
Okay, I should get different Q-tip now just in case.
Yeah, go ahead. Go grab like a couple. Um, if my seventh house is empty, will it make me less apt to be around people? No. Okay, so like how I do like chart readings. First of all, what zodiac energy is rolling over your seventh house? And what uh so you look at what energy is rolling over your seventh house and what's in opposition in your you have a zodiac energy ruling over your seventh house. Everybody does. So when you look at your chart, right, if you're looking at the wheel, you want to see where your 0 degree, where that 0 degree line is for your seventh house. Where does that 0 degree start at? What zodiac energy does that start at? Um, that'll tell you what zodiac energy is ruling over your seventh house. And that'll show you how that energy is at without a planet. That's the energy on default. So it's kind of like the law of physics. Whatever, if you don't have a planet in there moving around and stuff like that, that shit is going to stay at a default speed, velocity, direction, whatever the fuck. It's going to stay right at that zodiac. And then when you meet other people that have certain zodiacs and planets and stuff like that, in their seventh house, it'll affect your default movement. You know, it'll you're more apt to being affected. You know what I'm saying? Because you have an empty space there. So if you kind of like blend uh, human design, like the way human design communicates astrology, it'll be like that's an empty place for you. So in that empty place is where you're most likely to be influenced. So, you know, you're interpersonal. Okay, so Aquarius. So we're okay, so that was a good question. That changes my answer a little bit. Because Aquarius does have, you know, a sense of detachment, you know, being rebellious and unique and, you know, a little detached. So yes, you can have a sense of detachment in your seventh house. So yeah, you could be less apt to being around people. But that's because of the zodiac that it's in. That's not so much because you don't have a planet there. Hey Neri, peace of the goddess. Um, so like I said, if you meet somebody, maybe somebody with like Taurus ruled seventh house, that would affect you tremendously. Or ooh, a Leo ruled seventh house. That would actually be really nice for you. What the Aquarian energy has to learn is more of a we than a me, but it can flow into that me, and that could be like you might want to date somebody or have interpersonal relationships with friendships and you know stuff like that, or marriages with someone that is comfortable in their independence. You know what I'm saying? You don't really want codependency. That won't work for you in your Aquarius seventh house. We can do dominoes tomorrow. You're in a rush to get spanked. That's what it is. You're in a rush to lose at dominoes, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? No, but we could definitely. I'm gonna be home all weekend. We can do dominoes over the weekend. We got time. We got time. I win. You win. Uh, but that's what we have for the triangles happening from new moon to new moon, and it's fun there. To give you guys some heads up on what's happening astrologically, astronomically in the chart in the cosmos. What we have in retrograde right now is Juno. Juno is the planet that was a little asteroid or whatever, a little dwarf planet, and it rolls over where we need in a bond to want to stay in it. You know, be like Hera to Zeus, and it's in Scorpio. So usually, what you require in a bond is some sense of empowerment. You know, and there's transformations happening there too. Hey Hunter, how you doing, love? Vesta, what you're passionate about, is in retrograde, so it's moving slow, and this is in the space of Libra. What you get, that space of give and take, interpersonal relationships, bonds, and contracts. So what you're passionate, you know, having, you know, excuse me, Vesta is the what. So it's what you're passionate about. Libra is the how. That you know, it's the interpersonal relationships, the bonds and contracts, you know, being a pleaser and also having, you know, that sense of balance in your passions, whatever. That's moving slow right now. Almea is your connection with nature, and that's also in Libra, you know, moving slow and recalibrating that balance with Vesta. And then Maki Maki is it's more so like a Leo type energy. It's also in alignment with your connection with nature, but more on the extroverted realm, while Almea is more internal, and that's in Virgo. So, you know, those are our retrograde asteroids. Um, we have entered the energy of Thoth. We are here to April 19th. Uh, so today, well, Wednesday was 429. Two, the day of balanced justice. Two also deals with Taurus energy, which is your sun sign is a Virgo. My sun sign is in Virgo too. We love it here. Paying attention to your health, wellness, daily routine is a major of your experience, intellectual experiences, harvesting, manifesting things in your space. Um, but when we deal with two, we're dealing with Taurus energy, which you value and prioritize, was on the forefront of today. You know, two deals with Chokma, that is wisdom. You know, Jupiter energy rules over the Chokma. This is coming into expansion. Um, yeah, and two is also associated with Mayat, which is, law, justice, truth, and righteousness. We're in the month of four. This is the month of Chesed. This is also the month of home and family and nurturing energy, as Cancer rules over the fourth house of that matriarchal energy, introspection, the moon. And then four is also ruled by Jupiter energy, which is the sacral chakra. This is Chesed, it's Mayat energy, a law, justice, truth, and righteousness. So we're going to take that two of balance, put it in the four of wisdom, righteousness, um, Cancer, the divine womb. And that's going to bring us to six, focus on our health, wellness, daily routine, our moral and integral code. We're going to take that six of Tippereth, which is confidence and courageousness. Six also is the number of equality, which you put in, what you get out. And we're going to put into the year of nine. This is the year of giving birth. This is the year of Yesod. This is the year of reaping what you sow. So sow like you're going to reap it. Nine is the energy of the celestial womb being ruled by Sagittarius, which is expansion and abundance, utopian energy. So we take that six, we put it into the nine, and that brings us one and five. That's taking action, knowledge, Ketters is one, and five is the celestial enforcer, enforcing our internal law, you know what I'm saying? Which ultimately today's the day of six. Wednesday was the day of six, which is cool because the sixth house is the Virgo house and Mercury rules over the Virgo house. Six is equality. What you put in is what you get out. Six also deals with Tippereth. This is the confidence and courageous self. If you look at the tree of life, all the sephiros align with Tippereth. Tippereth is the heart on fire in the middle. To get to God, you got to go through the sun. Okay, this is the sun right here. Tippereth is Leo energy. This is literally the sun. Um, So Wednesday was the day of six, astrologically happening. We started the day off with an 18% waxing crescent moon. Moon rose at 8:59 a.m. There was no set time for setting. The moon was at a 4-degree Gemini in the sixth house, tropically speaking. So introspection on the moon was in community and communication on that health wellness daily routine. Hey EJ, energy exchanges on the emotional energy of the moon was on Taurus. So we're finding that balance between the physical and non-physical world. Sunrise at 6:41 a.m., set at 7:28 p.m. if you're on the East Coast with me. Um, the sun, which provides the experiences and expression in tropical zodiac, our mindset was in 12 degrees Aries, finding that knowledge and wisdom that brought us understanding to the new beginnings of home and family, sense of belonging on the fourth house. And then in the energy exchanges of things in Pisces, spiritual connection, anything hidden beneath the horizon. One and eight is the solar plexus chakra, one being Aries, taking initiative, eight being Scorpius energy, which is the transformations that occur after Aries, the gut that controls the mind, which brings us to nine, giving birth to something in our spiritual realm. The moon and Jupiter were in conjunction at 9:34 p.m. The moon was 5.2 degrees north, minimal angle at 9:51 p.m. The moon was 5.2 degrees north, and it was visible. So if you go outside right now, you'll probably see Jupiter all bright and blue white-ish next to the moon. And you're like, dang, that drawing pretty as hell. And that's Jupiter. So go outside and wave hi to Jupiter. How to make sense of the birth chart. I read birth charts if you would like a personal reading. You can reach out. And then so Thursday, let's get into the astronomical report on Thursday. But first, let's get into the numerology. Thursday is a day of three. It's a day of expression. I must go bye bye. The live is way too delayed compared to in real life transition. Okay, that's fine. You could just listen to me in the background. Thank you. Thank you, my love. Um, So three is expression, communication, as Gemini energy rules over the third house. That's mercurial flow. The goal with three is to be focused among being adaptable and flexible, uh, quick witty. If you find yourself fickle, unable to make decisions and things like that, um, that's a unfocused three. Three is expression and communication in the numerology realm. Three deals with understanding. This is Bina. This is Saturn energy in the tree of life. Um, that's when we get into restrictions and limitations and challenges that come into our space. We're going to take that three. Oh, nobody. Champ is my son, and he's literally sitting right next to me. So him listening to me and then him sitting on the phone, it's a delay in sound. So he's listening, he's hearing me twice. It's like I'm ad libbing my own stuff. Hey, Burn. Um, so we're gonna
You have
take that three.
tell him to subscribe to me. Subscribe to channel. He doesn't make a lot of videos, but still subscribe.
Subscribe to Champ, y'all. He doesn't make a lot of videos, but when he does, it's crazy. You look so tall. I'm not tall. I'm 5'4". You're 4'7". That's why I look tall, Brian. um, but yeah, so day of three is expression, communication, and understanding. Three is, emotional energy in the numerology realm. We're going to take that three and we're going to put it into the mother four. Because, of course, we want to create a divine blueprint with our emotional self. We want to create, a sense of, you know, culture or freedom or whatever, what have you, with our understanding, our limitations, our boundaries, and stuff like that. And that brings us to seven. Seven in supreme mathematics is God. Seven is interpersonal relationships, bonds and contracts, law, justice, truth, and righteousness. And the astrology realm, as Libra rules over the seven. Seven is in Sock, which is celestial technicians in the tree of life. This is Venusian energy, making everything all pretty. Okay. Seven deals with, it could be introversion, going inward, in isolation, exclusion, or whatever, as you tap into your spiritual self in the numerology realm. If you would like a reading, go inbox me and I'll send you the link and stuff like that. Nobody said he subscribed, Sir Champ. So that's seven. Of course, we want to give birth to the seven. Nine is the year of being born. Nine is Yesod. This is ruled by Cancer. This is the divine womb. Nine also deals with Sagittarius energy, expansion, abundance, traveling, foreign energy exchange, joy, long term planning in space of business, being philanthropic. This is the year of Jubilee. This is the year of gold. This is the year of the wood snake. Okay. Abundance is all around us. You have to give birth to it. You reap what you sow. So like you're going to reap it. So when we put the seven into the nine, what do you think we're going to get back? Seven. However, nine loves us so much, it's not going to give us the whole seven back. It's going to give us the seven back in pieces. Seven plus nine is 16. One and six. So in order to have seven, you have to have knowledge or take action on six, your health, wellness, daily routine, your moral integral code, what you're learning about, what you're speaking on. You have to take action on your Tippereth. That's the six. That's the heart. You know what I'm saying? The heart that's on fire. Six also deals with a sense of equality, how you're harvesting in the numerology realm. That is six. Okay. So you have to have knowledge on six to get to the seven. I said I'm Brian, if you're still here, I said I'm 5'4". I'm not that tall, but I am taller than you. Um, so today is the day of seven on this wonderful Jupiter day. It's a great day for my life path 1, 4s, and 7s because y'all like to be alone anyway. You guys are leaders, you're dependable, you're reliable, you're consistent, persistent. You don't really need a crowd around you. In this space, it's all about finding balance, right? Everything is on a balance. So you don't want to get too wrapped up into being alone. But my 3, 6, 9s, and 5s, you guys don't want to get too wrapped up into being around other people, places, things, situations all the time. Sometimes you want to add some level of intellect to your emotional self, right? Yeah, you're a seven. You live a long time, right? That's what the seven does. It puts you into that space of solitude, isolation. But you, like I said, you want to have a sense of balance. Thank you, goddess. So enjoy this Devious day of seven. Seven also does what Netzach. This is the celestial technician. It's making things all prettier in your space. And we love it here. Seven is God in the supreme mathematics. Astrologically, astronomically speaking, we start the day off with a 28% waxing crescent moon rising at 9:53 a.m. and setting at 1:13 a.m. We start the day off tropically in 18 degrees Gemini zodiac in the seventh house of interpersonal relationships, bonds, and contracts. So, nurturing the community, your interpersonal relationships within your community, nurturing the bonds and contracts, intellectually in your space. Um, In the energy exchanges, the moon is sitting in Taurus in the seventh house. So again, more net stock energy. Um, what you value, what you prioritize, nurturing those things, signing some bonds and contracts, reading, gaining intellect about those bonds and contracts and what you've been valuing, prioritizing what you're trying to create. Yeah, yin and yang in all things. And that's a beautiful balance there. Sunrise at 6:39 a.m., sunset at 7:26 p.m. As far as our experiences go, which is the sun, our experiences and expression, tropically speaking, we're at 13 degrees Aries, 1 and 3. Is a karmic debt number, taking action on what you stand under, which brings us to 4. Uh, but yeah, we're in that Aries energy of new beginnings in your mindset and your energy exchanges. We are in that spiritual alignment, sensitivity, empathy, things hidden beneath the horizon. Still in that dreamy energy. So even though you feel motivated to do a bunch of stuff and get a bunch of stuff done, it's okay to move slow and steady. You'll be mindful if you move, you'll be aware, like if you move slow and steady instead of trying to hop into that fire energy you feel, um, you'll get a lot more done. And you won't be anxious while you're doing it. The south pole of the moon is tipped into view at 1:51 p.m. The max north declination of the moon is at 6:01 p.m. And then Mars enters the Cancer constellation today at 12:40 p.m. So we'll now have Mars in alignment on the tropical, Vedic, and draconic chart being in Cancer energy, with this introspection and nurturing and a sense of belonging and being motivated towards these spaces, having ambition and being triggered, emotionally triggered is heavy here. So for people that are like, really fall under the guise of that Mars energy and they start reacting like very emotionally towards you, just give them grace because, they are being controlled by the energies, the zodiac energies. As far as the celestial timing goes, starting on Jupiter, Jupiter's hours are from 12 a.m. to 1 a.m., 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., and then 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Jupiter rules over, long term planning for business, expansion, and abundance, joy, prosperity, philanthropy, all that fun stuff. Mars hours are 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., 8, 1 a.m. to 2 a.m., 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., and 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Mars deals with ambition, motivation, assertion. Probably get into some physical activity during the time of Mars. Being intentional with your gut, like fasting or intentionally eating something. Sun hours are from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m., 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., and then 11 p.m. to midnight. We are in the hours of the sun. The sun deals with vitality, how you exert yourself, your sense of expression and experiences and interaction with masculine energy. Venus hours are from 3 a.m. to 4 a.m., um, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then, of course, on Friday, we start the Venusian hour at midnight. Venus deals with your creative self, making things pretty, gardening. For all my jewelers in the space, not just jewelers, but also like fashion artists, painters, designers, whatever what have you. That's all Venus energy. So I will tap into it during the Venusian hours. Mercury's hours are from 4 a.m. to 5 a.m., 11 a.m. to 12 a.m., 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. is all Mercury hours. Oh, okay. Mercury just throwing a card at me, so I'll just leave that on top. And Mercury deals with community and communication. You might want to get into some studying or learning something new. Hey, Mitty, during Mercury and hours. Also, if you're a trader, trading some things is fun there too. Remember, Venus and Mercury are still in retrograde, so they're moving slow. So when it comes to those spaces, give yourself grace and slow and steady. You know what I'm saying? Those usually those two planets are like smaller and more small, quick details and stuff like that because they're so personal and their orbit is so much shorter than the rest of the planets. But in this space, they're moving a whole lot slower. So even the little details is in alignment with the longer planets in the long term planning. Moon's hours are from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m., 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. And then 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., the moon deals with your emotional self, introspection, um, home and family. So anything dealing with that is when you want to deal with the moon. Okay. Thank you for tapping in. And then Saturn's hours, last but certainly not least, are from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., and then 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. So Saturn deals with long-term planning too, but it deals more so with like challenges, the restrictions and limitations, boundaries and stuff like that that give you strength coming to your space. And so, that's what you want to deal with when you're dealing with the Saturn hours. So let me give y'all y'all reading and I'm gonna see y'all out here. The theme of the reading for today is shapeshifting. New beginnings, we love it here, right? We're gonna focus on our whew,
Bless you.
thank you. I didn't want to spit everywhere. I hate those kind of sneezes. I always get caught up in this cursive of these planetary symbols. I think this is I'm gonna get it one day though. You know what it is? Thank you. I appreciate that, Miyagi. Um, hey Skylar. I'm gonna get it. I be second guessing myself. That's what the issue is. But we're focused on Saturn and Neptune, and they're in that space of between Neptune and Aries right now. So the subconscious, which I like how they have like the dreamy, bodies around here, and then it's in the shape shifting, so new beginnings, because we're in that space between Pisces and Aries with these two energies. So new beginnings happening here for us. But 3-4 is expression, and 4 is that chesed energy of foundation. So expression. And I like this card. It's pretty. Um, we have the Queen of Swords. So, owning that intellect is definitely key here. And the Three of Wands, taking action. So I like that. That's definitely like intellect and taking action. Taking action on what you know is heavy here. And that's really cool for the 3 and 4 too. Because the Three of Wands. And then 4 is, the Queen. Because I be established with shit, you know what I'm saying? Um, and then what parts of self to focus on in this space? You want to focus on your yesod, which is the ninth Sephiroth. This is giving birth. What do you want to give birth to? This is the moon in Sagittarius, so expansion and abundance, joy, philanthropy, nurturing that space, nurturing, Sagittarius rules over the ninth house as well, which is also dealing with the celestial womb. So nurturing what you want to give birth to. So when we are, learning about the things you want to give life to, like it's like saying like, okay, I don't. I always give the example like I want to live in an RV, right? So like I gotta learn about an RV. I gotta learn about how to power it, where I'm allowed to go, how to change the tire, how certain things need to get fixed, and how it's the whole insurance thing. You gotta learn about all these different things, right? So that's like, you know, the queen of the intellect. But then it's more than just knowing about it. You have to take action on what you know so you can give birth to what it is that you want. It's a combination. That's the thing with the magician card. The magician card isn't just one element. The magician card has all four elements on there. It's one thing to know, but you have to act on it with the fire. You have to, be intuitive and be insightful and be proactive and a little bit prophetic, right? With the water sign. And then you have to, formulate and bring stuff into your physical space with the earth energy. You have to use the magician card. You can't just use one element or whatever, right? So you like expression, creation with all four elements. Shape shifting has to happen here. And as you learn more about what it is that you want, shape shifting is going to occur, right? You start to change your behaviors, your mindset, your daily routine. Like I said, that long term planning. We just went through all of this with the planets already. But all that long term planning and stuff that you want to do, our personal planets are moving real slow right now because they're about to move you into new beginnings. Once they go prograde, they're going to go into Aries. So utilize this time to dream, to daydream, to visualize, to meditate, to ground, to utilize. We read The Secret. Remember when we read The Secret together back in January? Utilize those concepts. While these planets are sitting in Pisces, this is a perfect time to use all that energy. Because when it goes into Aries, that's when we're tapping into our 3 of Wands and it's time to take action. And if you wasn't sitting here visualizing step by step, visualizing you inside of the car, inside of the house, in the relationship, with the children, with the money, with the you're not visualizing step A, B, C, D, three to get into it. When it finally time is to put action to it, your body, there's no footsteps for your body to go into. You remember that poem with the footsteps? When you're walking through the sand and you realize after a while there's only one set of footprints to walk into. You're not setting no footprints. There's no footprints for you to walk into. It's like when you walking through the snow, right? I don't know about y'all, but sometimes I don't want to walk in brand new snow. Sometimes I'd be glad when somebody else already walked through the snow because I'm just gonna step in your footprints. Makes it easier for me. There's no snow in my shoes. We love it here. But if you didn't allow your spirit or your mind or your aura body to create those footsteps in the snow for you, you're just out there getting your feet all wet. Now your socks wet. Now it's cold. Now you want to go in the house, but you can't because you still got to go where you got to go. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like set your blueprint up. So you have something to walk into. Utilize this retrograde energy. You know, a lot of people like to complain and, oh my God, I'm going through experiences. That's because you're allowing yourself to be manipulated by the energy around you instead of learning how to not manipulate it and control it, but learning how to rise above it and use it to your needs. Shit is in retrograde. Perfect. It's the perfect time for me to slow down, take my time, really think this through about what I prioritize and what I value. Really think about the balance between my spiritual and my material self. Really think about what I'm willing to do in my health, wellness, daily routine to obtain that balance between my emotional and material self. You know what I'm saying? If you're not creating that blueprint, if you're not imagining it and all that stuff like that, you're really doing yourself a disservice. Now, there's gonna be some trickery. Definitely gonna be some trickery, and it's in the green, so it's in the heart chakra. So this trickery is going to the Netzach. Today just so happens to be a day of seven. It's a Venusian day. Somebody gonna play with something that you value when you prioritize. Somebody gonna say, hey, if you really want this material thing, you gotta move fast. You gotta move quick. I don't like quick talkers. I don't like quick talkers. They want me to hurry up and buy whatever they're selling right now. Because why can't I think this through? Why can't I call over here and compare this and contrast? Why can't I research things? Why are you rushing me? You know what I'm saying? I don't like stuff like that. That shit pisses me off. But for some people, it works. And it makes them hurry up and be like, well, you saying that I need this and I need that right now and I gotta da 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 and I only have a certain amount of time and the sale is gonna end in an hour and da 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 and they're gonna make a quick move and that wasn't nothing but no trickery. Take your time until you feel confident in what you're doing and you really have a blueprint set out and you really allow yourself to learn the things you want to learn. If you have not shape shifted yet, you're just going to be the same person in a new situation. That means if you're ignorant about, like, say, I give you guys a weird example. Like, say I want to be a race car driver. I don't know shit about race car driving. I don't have the lifestyle of a race car driver. I can barely drive regular on the road. I'm not imagining it. I'm not. I'm not intellectually building myself up. I'm not taking action with going to places where you practice to do this, wherever the fuck that might be at. I'm not doing any of that stuff. So when the time comes and so comes and says, I got a race for you, it's like a $2,000 race. Pull up. It's tomorrow. Get there. And I hurry up and get there. I can't drive no better today than I did yesterday. And now it's $2,000 on the line. Do you know what I'm saying? I didn't prepare myself. I'm still the same person I was before I said I wanted to be a race car driver. I did not enhance myself. I did not shapeshift into a race car driver at all. I stayed me. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing changed. I don't even like making left turns in front of other cars because I feel like the other car gonna play chicken and fucking T-bone me because it has happened a few times. Like I don't trust other drivers at all. There's no trust going on here at all. So what you think gonna happen when it's time to race? I'm gonna be driving with that same mentality, that same PTSD from the times I got T-boned and shit. You know what I'm saying? So if you're saying, hey, I want a community, or I want to be in a relationship, or I want a new job and I want a new business, and you haven't developed the intellect or the behaviors or the discipline or the order to be in a conducive relationship, to have a community, um, to do any of those things, you're not helping yourself. You're going into these spaces with the same mentality. You know what I'm saying? You're not fixing anything. So don't be so it's probably because I'm whispering because it's so loud, like it's so quiet here that every noise that I make feels like I'm being really loud. Um, but yeah, you don't want to go in those spaces because you're just going to create the same atmosphere that you're trying to heal from. And at this point, you have to be responsible for the atmosphere you're creating. I just created another car accident because I'm still in the same mindset that I had when I was on the road, and I didn't mentally prepare myself to be able to drive in this car race. So I created the same exact atmosphere. Now, is that to say I created that atmosphere the first time? Probably not. I probably had some contribution to it, but it probably wasn't entirely my fault. But this time it's my fault because I'm still in that mentality. I'm still driving like that. Same thing like in your relationships. Like maybe that entire relationship you went through wasn't your fault. You know, it was equal energy exchanges that made that relationship what it was. But if you walk into this relationship with that same mentality, actions, and behaviors based upon that one, you're going to literally create the same environment. Now, this time it's going to be your fault. You know what I'm saying? You quit that job because you had a certain mentality, this, that, and third was going on. You quit that job. Now you're going to come into this entrepreneurship with that same job mentality. You're gonna quit owning a business. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna quit when it comes to having business connections with other people. You know what I'm saying? You're going into these spaces with the same mentality. Be mindful of that. There should be some shape shifting happening. You know what I'm saying? If you're not shape shifting into the person that you need to be to have these things you're trying to manifest, I don't need to keep repeating myself. I think y'all got it at this point. Unfair treatment happening here. Be mindful of that little imbalance occurring for some of you guys on this day of 7. And I think that's just due to you still holding on the same energy. For real, for real. If you project that you're going to be mistreated somewhere, this, that, and the third, you might not realize it, but you start behaving that way. And you create that energy. Because what are other people going to do? What's the law of physics? For every energy, there's an equal opposite energy. So if I put that energy out there, you got to be aware that people are experiencing you just like you're experiencing them, and they're going to give you your energy back. So, and when I talk to y'all, I'm talking to myself too. So don't ever think that I'm speaking down from a podium with my nose in the air and my pinkies high, because they ain't never like that. I'm not here to sit at the head of the table. I'm here to sit at a round table. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I got for you guys today, my beautiful, lovely cosmic nobodies. I will see you later on to talk about Friday. I really enjoyed sharing this time and space with you guys. We do have some cool things like Mercury goes stationary on the 5th. Eros will also be entering Pisces zodiac. Mars will be entering Draconic Leo. Venus goes prograde on April 9th. We do have Pluto going retrograde. Pholus, which is an asteroid that makes everything extreme and disastrous, that goes retrograde on the 10th. Um, Mercury enters Aries on the 17th. The Sun enters Draconic Taurus on the 16th. We have meteor showers happening for the springtime because April showers bring May flowers. That's not just on the rain, but that's also in the meteors, as above, so below. The Sun enters Taurus zodiac on the 20th, 420, and that's also when we experience our last quarter moon, which is the line between being Wan gibbous and Wan crescent, because we'll start going from cleaning the tangible things in our space to the intangible things in our space. Uranus will be entering Draconic Gemini, which is going to be a really big deal because Uranus provides progressive pushes. So spiritually, communicating spiritually is going to be a big thing when Uranus enters that Gemini energy. What else? give y'all some cheats. Uh, the new moon is going to be April 27th at 3:32 p.m. And that same day, Psyche enters the Aries constellation, so new beginnings to our thought process. Uh, hmm. As far as May goes, the full moon will be May 12th. Sun will transit early at 12:55 p.m. on May 13th. Uranus and the Sun align May 17th. The Moon and Pluto will be at May 18th, so you can see the cycle between the Moon and Pluto's alignments between this month and next month. The last quarter moon will be 5:20. Um, Pallas goes in retrograde on June 3rd. The new moon will be May 26th. Jupiter will enter draconic Cancer energy, expansion and abundance to our home and family and nurturing self. So, to a lot of you guys who lost your homes, especially in fires like myself, or your sense of belonging and stuff like that, the new beginnings, um, yeah, that Jupiter and draconic Cancer is going to be setting the tone, helping you connect to your next sense of belonging and stuff. So that's going to be really cool, leading up to the space where Jupiter enters the tropical and Vedic Cancer energy. Pluto will go in retrograde on May 5th. Um, so Cinco de Mayo, Pluto goes in retrograde. Ooh, Cinco de Mayo, Pluto goes in retrograde. That's interesting. Palace, did I say Palace retrograde? 6/3. Um, Chiriclo goes in retrograde on May 27th. And so that's all my cheats. I ain't gonna give y'all no more. Y'all gotta show up for the mathematics. I appreciate you guys tapping in today. Y'all always some real ones. Thank you guys for commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Again, like I said, I'll see you guys tomorrow evening, and we'll talk about Friday and all that fun stuff. So, peace, y'all. See you later.